capability of putting 3 quarterbacks in there, shifting them all over the place, and eventually just handing the ball off. This is just a run to the outside, but because of all the confusion with the 3 quarterbacks, everybody's looking for the ball. Nobody can find the ball. He's off into the end zone.
Nolan Beek to attempt the extra point for the Tigers after the 42-yard touchdown run from Dre Nelson, his 2nd of the year. Beek now 35 out of 36 on the point after this year. Princeton takes the lead.
We talked about this offense, and you just can't say enough about all the different formations, all the different types of personnel. But look at this. Nobody really touched him throughout that entire run. And you got to give some credit to some of the receivers out there blocking out in front of him, doing a great job of giving that extension, giving the opportunity to get into the end zone.
So the Tigers ranked 24th in the FCS coaches poll, 25th in the media poll, showing why they are the talk of the Ivy League. With the trickery on offense, Dre Nelson, a sophomore from Stone Mountain, Georgia. This guy is a 3rd-string running back. He's averaging 6.5 yards a carry.
Yeah, that's not such a bad average per carry. And take a look at him. He's not a very big guy when you're talking about stature. He's 5'5", weighs 170 pounds, but he runs like he's 6'2", He's a tough kid. He's also got that burst. He's got that speed. He's another one of these track stars as well. So he'll be running the 60, he'll be running the 100 meters, and now he's out here playing football.
Robert Clemens III from his own goal line. To the 19 and not much more. Princeton with good special teams coverage. Joe Bonura with the tackle.
Last time out, Logan Scott and the offense were able to keep their poise and find the open man and get the ball out there, not throw those turnovers, not put themselves into a bind, but with a great field position last time, were able to come away with 6 points. They've got to continue to have that. Keep the Princeton offense off the field.
In talking with the Yale coaches, they said that Logan Scott is unflappable. Doesn't have a lot of experience, but a lot of poise. Khalil Keys takes the handoff, and there is nothing there up the middle against the Princeton D. Garrett Light, one of the first tacklers on the scene, along with Greg Satirianos.
Jason Ray as well, these linebackers. You know, when you're looking at Ivy League linebackers and you're seeing 6'2", 235, 6'2", 230, 6'2", 245 pounds, these are big kids that are really outstanding athletes as well, and they all can play football.
Incomplete, intended for Keys, and he is just buried by Dorian Williams after the fact. Williams has made a big impact on this Princeton defense, just a freshman from Streetsboro, Ohio. He's basically the nickel back for this team.
And Yale's got to be careful because this was nearly a lateral. It wasn't. It was thrown in front. It's downfield by about a yard, but you've got to be very careful. Those are those kind of plays that suddenly Princeton scoops that and scores, and they're down, and they've got themselves into a real bind. Got very fortunate that time.
3rd and 10. Keys stays in there alongside Scott. Incomplete, intended for Little. Grant Wallace, a junior, also in the neighborhood. And the punting unit comes on for the Bulldogs.
That 3rd down play, it's a tough play. It's 3rd and long. You're going against a very good, talented defense. But the offensive line that time did something very interesting. All 5 went down, chopped low, brought those defenders down onto their knees, and we gave a great opportunity for Logan Scott to be able to see downfield. Unfortunately, just couldn't complete the pass.
Bob Serace loves the Yale offensive line. He said they're the best unit he's seen on tape this year, and he's a former All-Ivy center himself. The Princeton coach. Fair catch made by Max Lescano at his own 48-yard line. So again, great field position for the Tigers.
And that's not what Yale wants to do. They've got to get a couple of first downs and be able to put Princeton way back deep in their territory like they did the first couple of series. Now, unfortunately for Yale, Princeton starting with great field position at the 48.
Speaking of the field, the number 42 is on the field this year. here at Princeton Stadium for Dick Kazmaier, College Hall of Famer, led Princeton to back-to-back undefeated seasons and a national championship, and of course won the Heisman Trophy here. Passed away in August. Ceremony at the Cornell game to honor Kazmaier.
Stop by number 10, Victor Eagle. 83, second and 7.
Connor Epperly off some play action, complete to Connor Kelly. That's a first down for the Tigers down at the Yale 38.
Connor Kelly.
And now, just an outstanding job that time by Connor Kelly. But now Quinn Epperly actually getting an opportunity, firing the ball in there. He's got himself a completion. Try to get that confidence level a little higher.
Epperly complete to Roman Wilson. And Wilson gets 8 on first down to the 30-yard line.
Stop by Austin Merlin. That's gain of 8, second and 2.
Epperly fakes the throw, hands it off. First down Tigers down to the 23-yard line.
DeAndre Atwater carries.
And DeAndre Atwater, the starting tailback, who we haven't seen much of in the early going, the sophomore from Duluth, Georgia, does get the first down. Epperly looking to throw. Just throws it away. Great coverage by the Yale D.
And a great decision that time. Why force the football? Just get that ball out of bounds. Let's come back. Let's put ourselves in a position to get this first down. He has not been pressured a lot. He's had a couple of times where he's had folks in his face, but for the most part, that offensive line's holding up very well. He's got these running backs as well that'll catch the ball out of the backfield, so you never know with this offense where they're going to throw the football, but certainly looking towards the end zone.
Seth DeValve in motion. On second down, Epperly throwing. Kelly, caught, touchdown. The flag was pass interference on the defense, I'm sure. Princeton goes on top, 13-6.
By number 18, Connor Kelly.
Epperly that time finding again Connor Kelly. We talked about it. He's the biggest of these receivers. Just a streak route right up the center of the field. He didn't make any moves, just went right down the center of the field, right towards the goalpost itself. Execution was fantastic. That time Quinn Epperly put the ball right on the money. Great opportunity for Connor Kelly. 6'2", grabbed that, brought it down, despite the fact that he'd been interfered with by the defender.
His 6th touchdown of the year. See if they go for 2 here. No, now they're back into a kicking formation.
Nolan Beck to provide the conversion.
Nolan Beek, perfect again. Puts Princeton up by 8 with 5:08 left in the first.
14, Yale 6.
The utter variety of the offense for Princeton. Got to be staggering for defenses, but the tempo at which they play also.
The tempo, it's very fast. It makes the defense have to be on their heels at all times. And obviously with the changes in personnel, this is a nightmare for defensive coordinators to have to prepare for this offense. You've got 3 quarterbacks, 2 quarterbacks. You've got all sorts of different formations. We're going to see even more unique formations as the day goes on. But I'll tell you what, this offense is something that with a very short time frame to get ready for these games, limited number of practice hours, this is something very difficult to be prepared for. It's exactly why they're having the success this year.
And Coca-Cola.
Yale held Princeton early, couple 3 and outs by the Tigers, but the last 2 times, big touchdown plays. 42-yard run by Dre Nelson and a 23-yard catch by Connor Kelly. Epperly started out 0 for 5, and he's now 5 for his last 6.
Showing us who he really is, and he had a couple of misfires early on. Maybe it was the emotions, maybe the adrenaline, maybe something happening, because he certainly didn't look like the Quinn Epperly who threw 29 straight completions, but he seems to be finding his rhythm. They're giving the right play so that he can execute.
Beek's kick is a dandy, and Clemens takes a knee.
Bulldogs take over at the run 25.
Second touchback for Nolan Beek. And Pete, there are some people that will tell you that sweeping for Princeton, let's say, Yale and Harvard in that series is more important than winning the Ivy League. As you see the scoring drive, very brief from Princeton. What else is new? A minute 21 and the Connor Kelly touchdown. So Princeton has the opportunity to do that today. They already beat Harvard in double OT, and now one of their other rivals, the Bulldogs, coming to town.
You talk to people in the stadium, you see them out in the tailgates, and you talk to some of the fathers, the parents of some of these kids out there. They all say, look, it's a sweep of Harvard and Yale. That makes it a successful season. If you win the Ivy League, that's just cherry on top.
Logan Scott off play action, tucks it under, and picks up the first down, a 10-yard rush for Scott, the sophomore.
At that time, Logan Scott made the decision. He tucked the ball and said, I'm going to run with the football. I'm not going to try to dance around and give everybody an opportunity to pursue. When you make those decisions quickly, you get to be much more effective. That time, great job identifying, getting the first down.
Candler Rich is his tailback, and Rich stumbles forward for a couple.
It's not an easy defense to run right up the middle because they've got some size when you look at that defensive line. Coron Reed, when you take a look at big number 11, he's 6'2", 305-pound defensive tackle. He's going to do a nice job of stuffing that hole.
Reed is an NFL prospect, maybe the best defensive player in FCS. Dion Randall, first down and more. Phil Baya and Coron Reed, the aforementioned defensive end, make the tackle, and that is to your point. Not only is Reed big, but he's able to recover and make that tackle downfield.
He certainly did. And you take a look here, and you see what Dion Randall's able to do. Get him to the outside. Don't try to run between the tackles. He's 5'8", 175 pounds. That time they got to the outside edge. He used his speed. Nice explosive run. Now they're on the other side of the 50.
Scott throwing it over the head of Randall. He didn't get the memo that Randall is 5'8".
I think he thought he was about 6'2" on that play because it was well over his head.
7'2".
7'2".
Please report to the press box. AJ Pagarski.
Logan Scott, a frustrating year last year. He played well in the win against Penn and then broke his arm in that game and was out for the year. Kind of came into this year not knowing if he would win the quarterback job. He did not. Henry Furman did, but now Furman is hurt, so it's Scott's team. That's complete. Grant Wallace stayed in bounds, the junior from St. Louis. He averages almost 15 yards a catch.
And Anthony Gaffney, the cornerback that time, he's a sophomore. He's got great size, 6'3", 200-pound corner. But he was playing so far off the receiver that was a very easy throw for Logan Scott. Nice execution, but Anthony Gaffney's got to get a lot closer and not put so much of a cushion against those wide receivers.
Princeton's junior linebacker Garrett Light is down. The Louisville native who's been active here in the early going. 3:58 left in the first. Princeton leading it 14-6. And Light will walk off under his own power. 52 tackles this year, a couple sacks for Garrett Light.
And he likes to play on the other side of the football. He's got 4.5 tackles for a loss as well. So this is an aggressive group. When you look at that front seven, they're going to come, they're going to hit you, they're going to knock you back, and they're going to try to make as many plays on the other side. They're not a catching defense. This is an attacking defense.
Scott looking to throw, does so to Randall, complete, gained only a couple. Matt Aarons, the safety, one of the tacklers, along with Dorian Williams.
Tell you, Logan Scott really looks like he's found himself a little bit. He made the good decision to run the football, get a first down. They got the ball over to Dion Randall, just threw the ball over to Dion Randall once again. Doing a nice job. Other than that one pass over Dion Randall's head, he's done a nice job on this drive.
On 2nd and 8, first down to Randall, and more down to the 5-yard line. Baya and Gaffney saved a touchdown for Princeton. Dion Randall has been as advertised.
Well, we were talking about this in the opening, that this is a guy who's the most explosive player, so get him the football. You can see his numbers right there for a career. He's got 10 touchdowns. He's got 7 of those touchdowns this year. He is a playmaker. Get him the football. It's exactly what they're doing on this drive.
24-yard pickup for Randall. Yale on the move. First and goal. Randall in motion. Scott sacked by Mike Zulli.
Sacked by number 34, Mike Zulli.
I like that Mike Zulli. He's an aggressive linebacker. They have been bringing the blitz on as much as they can. They want to get some pressure on these quarterbacks. You can see him here coming right up the middle, untouched. Nobody was there. That means the quarterback is responsible for him. He didn't see him fast enough. Couldn't do anything about it. Got the sack. But Zulli showing great speed and explosive blitz that time. Great defensive call by Steve Verbett, the defensive coordinator.
Saw the 17 sacks in the last 4 games. Zulli with 3.5 on the year. Complete again to Randall. And they gang tackle him at the 14. Still well shy of the first down.
Great hustle that time by the defensive line, all of them attacking and running to the football. A guy like Deion Randall, he's going to make some sideways moves. He's going to move east and west. He's trying to go north-south, but as he's making those east-west moves, great job by Matt Landry coming over and making that tackle.
Third and goal from the 13. Scott, and that is caught, flagged down. He caught it inbounds. He ran out of bounds first, however. Morgan Roberts with the catch for Yale, but there are flags down.
There's no doubt he was out of bounds at one point, so it's a matter of how he was pushed out of bounds and whether he was able to come back in. He came back in fast enough. We'll see how these guys sort it out.
No replay here in the Ivy League.
The receiver was pushed out, came back inbounds within a reasonable time. The result of the play is a touchdown.
13-yard catch by Morgan Roberts, the first touchdown of the season for him.
Well, it's a great call by the officials, because even though the fans don't like it here, of course, at Princeton, but if you watch this play, you see the receiver to the outside. Again, Logan Scott, what a drive he had. Put that ball right on the money. The receiver was pushed out of bounds. He got back in as quick as possible, caught that ball in the end zone.
Kick is good. 1:17 to go in the first quarter.
Yale down 1:17 left in the first quarter. Cazzetta completes the extra point. That was a heck of a throw.
That was a great throw. You get a good opportunity to see it. Logan Scott just puts this ball right on the money. Outstanding pass that time to Roberts, the second string quarterback. We talked about this. I still have questions about whether or not you put that second string quarterback out there on the field, because you're already starting to reach down into the depths of your quarterback position, so that makes it difficult. I still wonder, does Yale regret going for that 2-point conversion on that first touchdown as well?
Well, ask him in the fourth quarter of this ball game, but Morgan Roberts, I mean, there was no inkling that he would even play at receiver today. He didn't have a catch all season, and now he has 2 big catches in this game, including a touchdown.
The fact that they're targeting him tells us that, I guess, that he's not only healthy, but he's somebody that they're going to be using. He's not going to be Deion Randall, but certainly somebody they're going to try to get that ball to him. They've already got him a couple, and that touchdown right there was just an outstanding job.
A 9-play, 75-yard drive for the Bulldogs. Very impressive, eating up almost 4 minutes. Parker Toms with an onside kick, and Princeton has it, and there they go! Touchdown! Jacoby Johnson with his first touchdown of the year.
Dave, there are times where I almost think that coaches get themselves in a position where they're overthinking, overcoaching. They just came off a great drive. Yeah, maybe you get an opportunity, you get that onside kick, you get on top of it, and you look like a hero. Here's the opposite side of that, unfortunately. Now you give Princeton not only the momentum, but you give them a touchdown, and you've put yourself back into a bind. I guess the only good news is you're going to get your offense right back out on the field.
I guess Yale thinks that it's been cheap speed, that they're getting lucky to be in this game, and let's go for it right here. That Princeton is perhaps the better team, and they might need the trickery. But I feel like the Bulldogs had momentum The extra point is good for Nolan Beek. 21-13, Princeton.
Tigers 21, Yale.
You just hate to hand the ball to the other team and give them an opportunity. Let's say they do that onside kick and it's not successful. They don't get this thing returned for a touchdown, but you're going to be giving that offense the ball. If you don't get on top of it on the other side of the 50, the wrong side of the 50-yard line, there's just too many bad things that come out of that, in my opinion. You've got mojo, keep that mojo, kick that ball away. Let's try to pin them back as deep as we can, force the offense to beat us. That time it was special teams beating them.
Incidentally, Harvard shutting out Penn 31-0 at the half. So Princeton could still clinch a share of the Ivy League title today, but it does not look like they will clinch the outright championship with a Penn victory. Princeton could clinch it outright next week at Dartmouth. Yale and Harvard will, of course, play the game.
The game.
And that'll be at the Yale Bowl at noon next week. Beek with another deep kick. Clemens from his own 1. Stacked up at the 15 by Dre Nelson.
Well, we were talking about Dre Nelson. We said he's not a big guy, but he plays like a big guy. That time, what an outstanding job. A third-string running back coming down, covering the kick, and not just covering the kick, but making that tackle on the 15-yard line.
This is what happens if Princeton wins today. Yale will be eliminated. Dartmouth and Penn also will be eliminated because Princeton will only have one. They won't have any losses with one game to play, and all those teams have 2 losses.
It's always an exciting finish when you get into this Ivy League, and it should be very exciting, especially when you look ahead to next week.
Wow. Khalil Keys upended by Dorian Williams at the 20, picked up about 6 yards.
That's what they need. They've got to get some yardage on first down, get themselves in a comfortable position. Logan Scott's found a rhythm now. Nice job that time by Khalil Keys, getting to the outside, finding that hole. The offensive line so far doing a great job against a very tough Princeton defense.
On 2nd and 4, Scott is flushed. Incomplete, intended for Grant Wallace.
They're bringing linebackers every time. If they see, it almost looks like a read blitz to me, where even if it's not a called blitz, if it's a pass, they're going to bring all the linebackers. Let's get some pressure onto this quarterback. You can understand why. On that last drive, Logan Scott looked fantastic. He looked a lot like Epperly, quite frankly. They want to get pressure. They want to get guys in his face so he's not comfortable in the pocket.
Scott has been good so far in his first career start. On 3rd down. Incomplete. Dorian Williams is the man again with the coverage intended for Little.
Dorian Williams with excellent coverage. He's only a freshman, so you can understand why a lot of folks around Princeton, you walk around this campus, you can see why there's so much excitement. They've done a great job recruiting. They're excited about the freshmen that are here, the freshmen that are going to be here next year. They've done a great job of turning this program around. He's one of those examples. Dorian Williams, outstanding job at the cornerback.
4th punt coming for Cazzetta. He's averaging just under 36 yards per kick.
Wow.
Lescano, nothing there. Great coverage as well by the Bulldogs. LJ Hunt with the tackle.
That was an outstanding punt. He not only had the hang time, that ball was well up above the top of the stadium, but the distance he was able to get, and then allowed, because of the height and the distance, it allowed the coverage to get down there. Now they're in the position they want to be. Now force Princeton to have to go the length of the field. This is going to be a 72-yard drive as opposed to giving them the ball near the 50-yard line.
Epperly complete to Seth DeValve.
The pass is complete
at the 31. Got about 3 yards. Epperly, a junior from Knoxville, and DeValve, a valued receiver on this team. 4 touchdowns on the year.
2nd and 7.
That'll do it for the first quarter here in Princeton. The Tigers getting it done on offense as usual. They lead it 21-13. They've gotten some special teams help as well. Dre Nelson, Connor Kelly, and Jacoby Johnson all hitting pay dirt for the Tigers.
Cheeseburger, building a standard burger race. You're in the USG.
They don't mess around with the tailgating here at Princeton. The shrimp gumbo and the real corn on the cob here in the parking lot. Great football tradition.
That's not even fair. I'm hungry.
Somebody get Pete some gumbo.
Yeah, I could go for it.
Quinn Epperly with a quick completion out to Connor Michelson, one of the other quarterbacks. And if you're just joining us, Princeton will do that. They will play 2 and 3 quarterbacks at a time. All 3 are in there right now, including Kendrick Bostic. Now Michelson and Bostic will come out, and a bunch of receivers come in. In fact, 2 tight ends enter the game for Princeton, so it's like, you know, magic 8 ball. Just spin it and see what the next formation is going to be.
I'm going to predict to you that if other teams have any kind of depth at quarterback, by the way, Princeton's got 7 very good quarterbacks, that they're going to start using this type of an offense, because it is a defensive coordinator's nightmare, absolute nightmare trying to prepare for this offense.
First down.
Quinn Epperly, a great runner, dives forward for the first down for Princeton to the 39-yard line. Roman Wilson, the stiff arm, knocks the helmet off one of the Bulldog defenders at the 42. Picked up a couple. It is 2nd and 7.
The man whose helmet popped off is a great player. We haven't had a chance to highlight much about him so far today. That's his first tackle, but Cole Champion, he's a great safety out of Fort Lauderdale. He's from that Thomas Aquinas High School down there in the Florida area, in the southern Florida area. Great football powerhouse down there in southern Florida.
St. Thomas Aquinas has won some of those mythical national championships in high school football. And Epperly stacked up by Victor Egu, a freshman defensive end from Concord, California.
3rd and 1.
Epperly needs 1 yard, fighting, and he picks up the first down.
That's a lot of second effort there to be able to keep those legs moving. It looked like he was stopped and maybe didn't even make the first down. Was able to bounce to the outside, get that first down. You know, you brought up Victor Ego. We were talking about the other high school that's so famous. How about De La Salle High School, where he's from, in that Concord area of California? That is one of those powers every single year in high school football.
Absolutely. Michelson, the main quarterback here, fakes the hand to Epperly, and Michelson just gets rid of it, where it could be intentional grounding. Was he in the pocket? Yeah, he just wasted it into his own sideline.
I think he was just enough outside maybe of the pocket. At least that's what probably the refs, well, maybe not. They're talking it over.
There wasn't a receiver within 30 yards of that ball.
That's the other side, yeah. So if he's not outside the box, he's going to have to, that's going to be a penalty.
He's got some splaining to do.
He's got some splaining to do.
There is no flag. The ball went past the original line of scrimmage.
There you go.
Thank you.
Another look at Michelson, who is being hassled by 2 Bulldog defenders. Michelson was basically splitting time with Epperly early in the year, a junior from Plano, Texas, but Epperly has been so spectacular that he's taken on the lion's share of the reps for the Tigers.
Certainly a good problem to have for the Princeton the Tigers right now, to have so many quarterbacks.
And the hand to Epperly.
Oh, boy.
And he gets loose. Down to the 27-yard line, Quinn Epperly.
Brings the ball down to the
Epperly,
28.
he'll beat you with his arm, he'll beat you with his legs, and part of the reason he can beat you with his legs is he's a quarterback. He wears that number 4. Kind of reminds you a little bit of the old days of a Brett Favre, because he's got some size. He's 6'1", 220-pound Southern guy out of Knoxville, Tennessee. He runs hard.
Out of that hurry-up offense, Michelson airing it out. Incomplete, intended for Connor Kelly.
Look how quick they are. They're all sprinting back to be able to get that next play off. We talked about this hurry-up style offense. They certainly will get as many plays in by the end of the day as possible.
Spencer Rimashevsky, the freshman from Westchester, Pennsylvania, broke up that play. The 10th play of the drive. Epperly is back in the pistol. And a hand to Will Powers. So much variety on offense. You'll see a dozen different guys touch the ball.
It's absolutely amazing. You know, preparing to do the commentating on a team like this, you've got to have about 30 players on offense. They use so many different names.
3rd and 9. Epperly going deep. And Costello draws the flag. He knew he couldn't get to the ball, but that was a heady play by Matt Costello to draw the pass interference on Rimashevsky.
And I think you're exactly right. He drew the pass interference. I think he forced him into that position.
Number 17, defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Matt Costello, a lot like Roman Wilson. These guys look like twins because they're both around that 6 foot, 190-pound area. But you can see as they were kind of hand fighting down there, sometimes they'll call that, sometimes they won't. I think that was a good job by Matt Costello. The way he moved his body around, the referee had nothing to do other than throw the flag.
So they'll mark off the penalty here against Yale.
15-yard interference penalty moves the ball to the 11. First down, Princeton.
It'll be first down Princeton at the Yale 11. Epperly on the Walter Payton Award watch list. Has time, throws, Kelly.
Wow.
Tackled behind the line of scrimmage by Rimashevsky, who gets some measure of revenge.
Rimashevsky, that was an outstanding play. He a blocker on him. He still was able to break through and make that tackle for a loss. That was an outstanding play by a cornerback. You're always looking for these guys. And again, Yale is so young. This is another freshman. When you look across their roster right now of starters, they have freshmen and sophomores everywhere. They've got a very encouraging outlook going forward.
Epperly throws complete. Atwater is in. Touchdown Princeton. DeAndre Atwater, his first touchdown catch of the year. 11 yards.
He's a heck of a football player. His father, it's my era, old Steve Atwater, was a great safety back in the day in the NFL. Just an outstanding football player. And now his son, you can see the toughness rubbed off on his son as well, the way he was able to put his head down and get himself over the goal line. Great job by DeAndre Atwater.
Nolan Beck for the extra point.
Princeton's extra point try by Beek is good.
Kick is good.
28-13. Princeton keeps on rolling. DeAndre Atwater with an 11-yard touchdown catch from Quinn Epperly, who now has 22 touchdowns on the year.
Timeout.
An impressive scoring drive for Princeton. 12 plays, 72 yards, 3.5 minutes, and Quinn Epperly perfect on the drive, and that's the guy we're used to seeing.
Yeah, his accuracy is absolutely incredible. It's right around that 74% completion. So he started off a little slow. He had a few misfires, a little too much adrenaline maybe, but once he settled in, we're seeing the real Epperly now, and he is just outstanding.
Over 2,200 yards total offense this year for Epperly, including today's action. Robert Clemens III. And again, doesn't make the 20-yard line.
The tackle made by number 35, number 34.
When you look back to that first quarter, I think what the biggest takeaways are is that Yale kept themselves in the football game by maintaining the ball. They had the ball for over 10 minutes in the first quarter. That's something they've got to continue to do. If you take away that crazy onside kick attempt, and that's a touchdown, there's 7 points, they're right in this ball game. Now they find themselves down by a few more than that, but they're still in this game, and they're doing a great job of moving the ball.
Khalil Keys takes the hand and picks up a couple to the 21. And they tried for a 2-point conversion as
Yeah.
well. If you tack on an extra point there, you don't lose the 2 gambles. It's 21-14.
Yep. And they're playing very, very well on offense. Defense is doing the best they can, and some of this obviously coming from the special teams as well. But Logan Scott's looked very sharp. He's just got to continue to look so.
Complete to Deion Randall. First down Bulldogs out of the 34-yard line. Garrett Light is back in there for Princeton. He was injured earlier in the ball game. He helped out Anthony Gaffney. That's a 13-yard gain.
Great pass, nice look from Logan Scott, getting the ball to the playmaker, Deion Randall. If I'm Princeton at some point, I might start thinking about putting 2 players on Randall just to see if I can maintain him and force them to go to other players.
Scott throws to Randall, incomplete. Randall just bobbled it. Coverage by Matt Aarons, the sophomore safety.
Aarons was in the proximity, but Randall needs to make that catch. That ball was put right on the money once again by Logan Scott. They can't have those kind of drops. Yale just doesn't have that luxury to be able to drop the ball here and there. The Princeton offense is going to score points, and they're going to score very fast. Yale's got to be able to compete by making that catch.
Scott throws complete. Miles Gaines, a freshman from Tallahassee, makes the catch, his 14th of the year. Had a touchdown last week in the win over Brown.
Like you said, another freshman as well. This is a really young team, but they've been really performing amazingly well for the entire season, and we're seeing freshmen make play after play today.
Tony Reno, the head coach, said, "I had no expectations this year," and they have certainly overachieved. Incomplete, intended for Sebastian Little, who didn't think the ball was headed his way.
Certainly looked like it wasn't expected by any stretch, but he almost still came up with the catch. That time, that's on Little. You look at that drive, they're moving the football, some nice passes from Logan Scott, but then Deion Randall with the drop, Sebastian Little not looking back, he's got the drop. Now they've got to punt the ball, give it back to that potent Princeton offense.
Max Lescano handling all the punt return and kickoff return duties today for the Tigers. Here's the 5th punt by Cazzetta, who's been pretty darn good. Lescano from his own 18. And that's a 6-yard return, stacked up by Bo Palin, the captain of the Bulldogs. Princeton leading it 28-13 here in Ivy League action. Back with more on ESPN3. The Princeton offense is rolling now, and Yale trying to keep up with them. Candler Rich Princeton has the football, and Kendrick Bostic, the quarterback slash receiver for this team, picks up a first down for the Tigers at the 33. Along with Pete Najarian and Dave Popkin with you at Princeton Stadium. If the Tigers win this one, they clinch a share of the Ivy League title, their first since 2006 when they shared it with Yale. Connor Michelson with 3 quarterbacks in the game here for Princeton, and Will Powers makes the grab. It'll be 2nd and short.
Just, it's so difficult. I keep looking at this as my old days as being an inside linebacker and trying to figure out where am I looking? You've got 3 quarterbacks. Anybody on a handoff is potentially going to throw the football. And look at some of these sets. Look at how the entire offensive line now moving back over here. Just incredible.
Will Powers moves the pile out across the 40-yard line. Powers, a junior from Jupiter, Florida, came in averaging almost 5 yards per carry. It's been an embarrassment of riches for Quinn Epperly and Princeton this year. So many offensive tools that they can utilize. Epperly, plenty of time, and he throws incomplete, intended for Kendrick Bostic.
Wow, and he was trying to put that inside of a very tight space. It was the only place he could, and actually he threw it there. He was able to get it there. Bostic just couldn't come down with the football. But you mentioned all these players. Just think about DeAndre Atwater, Brian Mills, Dre Nelson, Epperly, Michelson, Bostic. All of these guys have touched the football today, and we didn't even include any receivers. It's amazing.
Good play by Charles Cook on defense a moment ago to force a 3 and out for Princeton. Roth's kick is his third of the game, and it's a fair catch by Dion Randall at the 24. 9:08 left in the second quarter. Number 24, Princeton leading Yale 28-13 in this age-old rivalry. More Ivy League football in a moment on ESPN3. Princeton Stadium is the site. College football here on ESPN3. Yale trailing by 15 here against the Princeton Tigers, the first place team in the Ivy League. Logan Scott, his first one is complete. Dion Randall has it. First down Bulldogs all the way down to the 39-yard line. That's a 15-yard pickup for Randall.
Great execution on that play that time. Logan Scott got a great view because the offensive tackle on the left side did a nice job. You see him trying to chop the defensive end. Randall's able to get that ball, get himself upfield, use that speed in open space, get the first down, get up near the 40-yard line.
Matt Aarons prevented a bigger gain by Randall. Scott on the hand. Candler Rich going head over tea kettle at the 42.
Dorian Williams, once again, the freshman, coming up with some great support from the secondary that time. Got into the legs. Tell you what, these guys all can run. That's the impressive thing watching this Princeton defense. There's not a lot of guys with bellies hanging down and all the rest of that. This is a very fit, very athletic group of front seven. You look at that secondary as well. They all can run.
Garrett Light on the blitz. Oh, Jason Ray gobbles up Candler Rich at the 40. Lost a couple.
That's why Jason Ray moved from being a running back, getting hit, to being a linebacker, making those kind of hits, because this is a guy who's got the size. He's out of Clarkston, Michigan. Does a nice job. Look at him fill this hole and explode into that tackle using his legs. Great job of filling very fast. Jason Ray, one of those senior linebackers at Princeton.
Logan Scott needs a new play here. Still plenty of time. 9 on the play clock for the sophomore from Woodland Hills, California, making his first collegiate start. And Yale needs time.
Timeout, Yale.
Tony Reno did not like what he saw from the Princeton D. First timeout called by the Bulldogs.
And why not? You're moving down later into the second quarter now. You've got 7.5 minutes to play. Make sure you've got the right plays called. You got a 3rd and long. You want to get this first down, obviously, but you need to keep that ball away from the Princeton team.
Princeton has totally turned it around. This is their senior day, the final day here at Powers Field for this senior group, and they started out 2-18. Last season, 5-5, and then this year, first place in the league. And in talking to the Princeton coaches, they give a lot of the credit to the turnaround to this senior class, saying that they're mentoring the younger guys, that practice goes great because of them. Logan Scott.
Good decision.
First down for Yale, down to the 47-yard line of Princeton. Scott doing a little Epperly impersonation.
Certainly did. He started off the game a little apprehensive. He obviously looked like a sophomore who hadn't had a lot of experience. He doesn't look like that guy anymore. He started to really turn it around. Great job making the decision and getting another first down. He's really put the team on his back.
Just over 7 minutes to go in the second.
Whoa. Woo.
Garrett Light with a huge tackle for Princeton after a gain of maybe 2 by Khalil Keys. Greg Sotiriano is also in on the play.
That's how you meet a running back in the hole. And that time, Garrett Light, all 6'2", 245 pounds of him, came up and met the back in the hole. The only problem was it was 4 yards downfield. So they put themselves into a very comfortable 2nd and 6 now for Yale. Scott. Complete. Nice.
Sebastian Little Dorian Williams
Number
nearly
4,
knocked that ball
Sebastian
down
Little.
out of the air, but Little makes the
The ball's
catch.
now at the Tiger 28, first down.
Little kind of making up for the mistake earlier when he dropped the ball. This time, Logan Scott trusts him, throws the ball out there long before he made the break deeper downfield. Nice grab.
His first catch today. Candler Rich trips over the 25-yard line.
Rich on the carry.
Gets about 4 yards for the Bulldogs, who continue to churn it on offense. They're a 50-50 balanced team, pass and run.
Kevin Morris just really doing an outstanding job with the play calling and giving Logan Scott an opportunity to have success. And he's had a lot of success throwing and running today.
Candler Rich again on the carry. Mike Zulli drags him down, still shy of the first down. Let's call it 3rd and 4.
Light on the stop.
If you're Kevin Morris right now, you're trying to decide what kind of play you want to dial up on this 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 kind of a play. Look for Deion Randall. Let's see if he's double covered or not. If he's not, I'm getting the ball to Deion Randall.
So far, no. Randall is in the slot right. Rich is the lone back. Scott going for it. Broken up. Beautiful play by John Hill. Intended for Roberts.
I was going to say again, going into the end zone and going for Roberts into the end zone. I'll tell you, unfortunately, the decision to go, that obviously was the original play call. Let's go for the end zone. Let's go for the touchdown. I got to tell you, Deion Randall was open. He was open for the first down. They wanted to go for the touchdown.
39-yard field goal try for Kyle Cazzetta. His longest this year is 46. That's up. Plenty of leg, and it's good.
The kick is good. And with 4:56 remaining in the half, it's
Yale has been pretty impressive offensively in this ball game. They've been able to move it. Now just down 28-16.
They certainly have. They've done a great job of pushing around that Princeton defense. As good as that defense is, as athletic as they are, you look at that offensive line, and I know coaches have talked about it, one of the best offensive lines maybe in the Ivies, but you look at Carberry and Chisholm and Longinati and Oppenheimer, Gavin, all of these guys up front doing a nice job of pushing that line of scrimmage further downfield. So on running plays, they're getting 3, 4, 5, 6 yards on those first down plays, putting themselves in very makeable 2nd and 3rd downs.
Total yards by quarter. Yale has outgained the Princeton offense overall, and by 5 yards, particularly here in the second quarter. And that's a mouthful because Princeton has the #1 offense in the league.
It's definitely surprising, especially considering you're not just down to the 2nd-string quarterback. You've gone all the way down towards the 3rd string, and Logan Scott has really done an outstanding job.
That'll be a penalty as it bounces out of bounds. Smart play by Will Powers near the 20. Yale has also possessed the ball for 6.5 minutes more than Princeton. And you mentioned that was a key early on, keeping the Princeton offense off the field.
You certainly want to keep that offense that's scoring well over 40 points a game off the field, and you want to possess the ball. They've done a nice job doing that. But I'll tell you, again, we had a special teams play earlier on that onsides that did not work, returned for a touchdown. And now on this most recent kick, you're giving this potent offense the ball at the 35-yard line.
Put to 35, first down.
Quinn Epperly and the Tigers have it with plenty of time. 4:56 left in the second quarter. Up by a dozen. Atwater takes the hand, doesn't have much. Maybe a yard. The sophomore tailback from Peachtree Ridge High School in Georgia.
DeAndre Atwater stopped by the center of the line. Into 2nd and 8.
On 2nd and 8.
Wow.
That one hit Atwater on the face mask, and he was hit hard from behind by Charles Cook.
Everly's pass is incomplete.
Charles Cook really just drove and made a hit, and unfortunately, looks like we got an injured player based upon that, DeAndre Atwater down there on the ground. But that was an outstanding, it wasn't a dirty play, but that was an outstanding job of driving and going after the receiver, not going for the head, just going for a hit. Very nice job by Charles Cook. Unfortunately, DeAndre Atwater is still on the ground.
Looked like his forearm got Atwater pretty high, maybe the neck. Atwater assumed the starting job when Brian Mills got banged up earlier in the year, and they've all shared time in the backfield. Atwater, Mills, Will Powers, Dre Nelson.
It's incredible. It's incredible to have three quarterbacks that all can play almost equally. When you really see the playing time, they really are all on the field almost equally with each other. And then you see Atwater and Mills and Nelson. There's just so many different players that are coming in and out of this offense. It's incredible. Depth. You got to love the depth.
Princeton averages 223 yards a game on the ground, Pete, and no one averages more than 65 yards individually. It's just spread around. It
just shows you how well and diverse this offense is. And you look at the quarterback position, Mickelson's thrown almost as many passes as Epperly. Epperly really has stepped it up over the last couple of weeks, so he's extended that lead, but very close.
Flags are down.
A lot of movement, couple flags down. Max Cole, who's making his 22nd straight start, was pointing that Yale was offsides. We'll see.
Defense, number 53. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
It is offsides against Yale.
I think the referees appreciated that extra little swivel he did after he pointed out who was offsides on that play.
Third and 3. Epperly flushed, and he throws incomplete. I got to tell you, even though Princeton has 28 points in this game, Yale has done the best job against Epperly of any team that I've seen this year.
It seems like they're frustrating him. He had a nice run there, but early in the game he struggled. Then he got into his rhythm. Now it seems like they've taken him back out of his rhythm once again. So you got to give some credit to this Yale defense. They really are playing well. They're not giving up in any way, shape, or form. They've given up some yards, but they're bending, not breaking.
Fourth punt for the freshman Tyler Roth is a beauty.
Wow.
Fair catch by Dion Randall at the 15. Yale's last scoring drive, Logan Scott has been moving him down the field.
He's just done a great job of making decisions, and that's really what the quarterback position is all about. But running with the football, then throwing the football, getting it out to the outside to these receivers. He's got some pressure on him at times, but he's done a great job of keeping his poise. They didn't get a touchdown, they got a field goal, but they've got themselves right in the middle of this football game.
Yale is still alive in the Ivy League title chase. If they win this one and then beat Harvard next week, they clinch a share of the championship.
It's just, it's incredible, especially, we talk about the youth, but this is a young football team.
The fake to Rich. Scott has it.
Oh,
incomplete, intended for Dion Randall. Aaron's on the coverage.
The first really bad pass for Logan Scott on the day, because Dion Randall had him beat. That was a touchdown. He had the speed, he had the extension, he got the separation, and unfortunately Logan Scott just a little too excited when he saw him that open and overthrew him on that play. Dion Randall's going to step off and take a little breather after that one.
6th in the country in receptions per game. On 2nd and 10. Gaines spun out at the 23.
Miles Gaines.
It'll be 3rd and about 5.
Gaines is going to say thanks a lot to Sebastian Little on the outside, because again, you talk about guys not being selfish. Great job, Sebastian Little, staying on the block and allowing him to get at least 6 yards on that play. Otherwise, that would have been stopped for about 3 or 4.
3rd and a long 3 here for Scott and the Elis. Complete to Randall. First down and a few more. Tackled by Aarons at the 34.
Yeah, Deion Randall that time was able to beat.
Number 1, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Elijah Mitchell called for roughing the passer.
Yeah, they're aggressive, and they're certainly bringing the blitz on and just hitting him late that time after he'd released the football. But I was saying Dorian Williams that time beat to the inside, and then again, Deion Randall. On these third down plays, we talked about going for the touchdown last time, not the first down. Deion Randall on one-on-one coverage is more than likely going to beat those defenders. So if you're not doubling up and it's a third down play, look for that slant to the inside to him every time.
Trips to the near side. Randall wide open. Another first down for Yale inside the Princeton 30-yard line. Williams and Aarons sandwiched him, but that's after a big gain, 22 yards.
Get the ball to your playmaker. Take a look at this block by number 29, Grant Wallace on the outside. Gets the defender on the ground. He's right at the bottom there, number 24. Nice job of blocking by those receivers. It opened up that hole. Deion Randall was able to run through it and explode for over 20 yards.
Morgan Roberts is back in there as a receiver. This is his first game this year as a receiver, and he already has a touchdown. Scott looking in his direction, and Roberts, that's incomplete.
It's almost becoming a little too predictable, though. You put Morgan Roberts in there, you're going to throw the fade pattern down the sideline to him. That's exactly the pattern they've done time and time again, and they've got some great secondary folks out there. John Hill doing a nice job on the outside. He doesn't have a lot of height, but he's got great speed. Nice job of covering Roberts on that play.
Roberts suffered a deep thigh bruise and a rolled ankle last week against Brown. Had to be pulled out as the quarterback. Candler Rich fumbled it. Princeton says they have it, and they do! First turnover of the game.
It's a great-looking drive, and unfortunately a drive killer, of course, is not converting on third down or fumbling, turning over the football. This time Rich just ball popped right out of there. Defense, nice job of getting on the ball, but that's the things that Princeton can get away with that. They've got the kind of offense that can score at any moment. Yale's a grinding offense. They're going to move the ball downfield. They can't give up the football and give it right back to the Princeton offense.
Plenty of time for Epperly in this quick strike offense. Here's Roman Wilson on the reverse. And Wilson picks up 5 yards to the 36.
Out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. The fun thing about this young man is I played with his father. His father was a center for one of the teams I played with in the World Football League long ago, the Sacramento Surge.
Wilson with another play. Doesn't get much, a yard or two. He's in phenomenal shape. In fact, James Perry, the offensive coordinator, said he's in the most amazing shape of anyone I've ever coached.
That's saying something, for sure. These coaches have some experience, so they've seen a lot of these players. He's a great young man. He's going to graduate on time. He wants to get a shot in the NFL someday. He doesn't have a lot of size. He doesn't have his father's size, but he's certainly possessed great speed, and his ability to catch the ball in traffic is incredible.
He'd be a good possession receiver, good slot receiver. Epperly, he's got a man. Broken up at the last second. Robert Reese with the defensive play. And the Princeton receiver is shaken up. It's Connor Kelly.
He's going after Connor Kelly once again because he likes that size. Epperly that time just hung the ball up there. He needed to rifle that ball, throw it on a rope, as they always say, the frozen rope. He didn't do that. He gave enough time for the defender to come in and make that play on the ball.
The Bulldog defense holds fast again. Roth will kick it away to Randall, who's been calling for a fair catch almost every time. Nearly blocked. Takes a Princeton roll all the way inside the 15 to the 12-yard line.
Doing the ball roll dead at the 12-yard line.
So Yale gets it back, 1:41 left.
Defense just playing it amazingly well, and they're putting Epperly at times. He's had some stretches where he's been just outstanding, but there are other times where they've been able to put enough pressure on him that he's not as comfortable. He's getting rid of the football, and he's having to either throw it out of bounds, throw it somewhere else, but not getting those first downs. Now Yale, nice job by the defense once again, giving it back to the offense. Got a minute and 41. I don't know that they're an explosive enough offense to be able to march down this field on this play, but they certainly at least are happy to have that ball back. They want to move the chains right now.
Somebody got a hand on it at the line, intended for Roberts. 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10.
It's hard to say who actually got their hand on that ball, but you know, it's an interesting thing. Do you want to throw the ball deep in your own territory and not use up that clock, or do you want to grind it right now?
Looked like the big paw of Karan Reed. And that too, incomplete, intended for Sebastian Little.
So we've worked about 6 seconds off this clock on 2 incompletions. So this 3rd down is very critical. You wonder, do the coaches want to run it? They'll get a timeout called, or throw it again. They're probably going to have to throw it again and try to get themselves a first down.
I think so. 4 for 10 on 3rd down. Scott being rushed by Mitchell. And Scott just has to run it out of bounds, so Yale will be punting from their own end zone, and they'll give Princeton plenty of time, still 1:27 on the clock.
It's the dangers of making the decision that we're going to throw that football deep in our own territory. Started with the clock 1:41, now we're down to 1:27. That's plenty of time. There's a good chance Princeton's going to start the football on the wrong side of the Princeton 50, and that's never a good thing to give this offense the ball with a minute. Probably going to be about a minute and 20.
6th punt for Cazzetta. Lescano deep for Princeton.
Nice kick.
That is returnable. Lescano cuts it inside. Has some blockers across midfield to the 41-yard line. Good field position for the Tigers.
So because of the 2 incomplete passes and then running out of bounds, you got a great punt from the punter that time, forcing him deep, but maybe even out-kicked the coverage a little bit, was able to get that ball, find that hole, find that seam. Now Princeton's in a great position to put more points on the board, add to that 28-16 lead.
Princeton has had to punt on their last 3 drives. The Yale defense has been good here in the 2nd quarter. Will Powers is the back in motion. Epperly throws to Seth DeValve. Still fighting across the 35. Got about 8 yards.
DeValve's a lot bigger than you might think. When you go down on the field, you stand next to this guy. He's 6'3", 240 pounds. So he's kind of your big tight end H-back.
Epperly keeps, dives toward the 30. That's a first down Princeton.
First down Princeton.
Epperly has rushed it for about 500 yards this year.
This is their
Princeton
first
calls time.
timeout of the half.
Quinn Epperly, 5 straight Ivy League Offensive Player of the Week awards. He has been incredible this year. 2nd in the country in completion percentage at 74%.
It's just incredible. He's got 2 back-to-back wins as one of the quarterbacks. We know how many quarterbacks play here, but back-to-back wins against Harvard, the 6 touchdowns against Harvard, just an incredible number. When you look across and you see some of the numbers this kid's put up this year, just a magnificent year. He's only a junior.
No postseason here for the Ivy League team, so after next week, that'll be it for Princeton. It's kind of a shame that they wouldn't advance to the FCS playoffs because Princeton would do well against many of those teams.
I'd like to see him against a Villanova or some of these other teams in those playoffs. That'd be great.
Epperly tried a little shovel pass to Des Smith, the tight end. That was dangerous.
That was a strange-looking kind of pass that time. Almost looked like he was shot-putting the ball. It wasn't really so much of a throw as it was just sort of shot-put. It is odd. You can see what they're trying to do, though, is they're streaking the receivers on the outside, trying to create something in the middle. That's the second time they've tried that now. So they see something that they think is vulnerable in that Yale defense, and they're trying to attack.
Just clearing out some space.
Yep.
Single coverage on Costello on the near side. And Will Powers takes the hand. Powers, what a run. Aptly named down to the 21. And that's good enough for a first down.
That's a nice thing about getting that ball with enough time.
Timeout, Princeton. This is their second timeout.
Princeton takes their second timeout.
By leaving so much time on the clock, it gives Princeton a great opportunity. Now after that play, they call the timeout, their second timeout. So they've got one left, 37 seconds. Very, very comfortable position now attacking Yale on the defensive side from the 20-yard line. They can still run the ball and not risk it all that much while they try to exploit him with some of those passes in the center as well. Or will he finally go for something on one of the sidelines, try to go for these corners?
DeValve and Roman Wilson have been the main touchdown targets this year for Epperly, and they're lined up on the left side. Costello to the right. Nice helmet.
That is something else. I'll tell you what, you don't see a lot of band leaders like that. Right?
Did he borrow that from you?
Yeah, that's when I'm riding around on my Harley, sure.
37 seconds left in the second quarter. First down, Tigers. Des Smith, the tight end, is split out on the right. Epperly, all kinds of time. And he throws complete. Seth DeValve, close to another first down at the 11-yard line. He got about 9.
They're moving quick. They've got to get something else. They're looking into the center of the field a lot.
Epperly, with 18 seconds left in the quarter, just kills the clock with 15 seconds left.
Third and one.
Third and one.
That previous play, he had, I think it was Roman Wilson made a really nice move on the safety and was able to cut to the inside towards the post. Just didn't see him, unfortunately. Epperly didn't see him. He ended up dropping the ball off to DeValve, but still, nice position right now. Third and one. They can still get the first down and stop that clock.
Epperly, always a threat to run, does so. First down to the 6. Princeton will likely call time. They don't. Epperly rushes to the line. 11 seconds left, and he spikes it. 2 seconds ran off, so still 9 seconds in the first half. Princeton trying to punch in a very important score.
You can see Epperly just does a nice job of running with the football, finding the hole, and putting his head down.
Epperly, time again. Seth DeValve makes the catch. That's a first down, and he gets out of bounds at the 4. 3 seconds left in the half.
It's a pretty makeable field goal from here. It's literally an extra point in length, so he's off to the side of the field goal, but should be a pretty easy chip shot from here with 3 seconds left.
21-yard try for Nolan Beek. 6 out of 10 this year.
Oh,
blocked.
Wow.
No good. Yale blocks the field goal at the end of the first half.
Before the ball was snapped, timeout Yale.
Oh.
That is their second timeout. Wow.
Again, Yale outthinking themselves in this ball game. They blocked the kick, but called timeout first.
You know, we've had too many of those outthinking yourself type plays today, unfortunately, for Yale. The onside kick, another kick that went out of bounds that was sort of a short pooch type kickoff, give them the ball on the 35-yard line, and now this timeout. Just too much of this overcoaching sometimes, trying to get these timeouts in, try to freeze the kicker. Great push, by the way. Great push by the defensive line.
You're going to freeze the kicker on a 21-yard
Well,
kick?
I'm
what
with
they
you.
were trying to do.
I'm with you.
So a 21-yard attempt. That one is good. No problem. 31-16. Princeton up by 2 scores. It's a 21-yard field goal going into the locker room. After playing a good defensive second quarter, Princeton has taken back the momentum. Some key plays by the Tigers here in New Jersey.
Great position. You can see a lot of the scoring there. This game is much closer than the scoreboard reflects right now.
Yale has dominated the time of possession. Both teams pretty even on third down conversions and total yards. The one turnover for Yale was a fumble by Candler Rich, recovered by Princeton. Max Lizcano from his own 14 as we get underway here in the second half. And Lizcano was met first by Darius Minora. It's getting close to Hanukkah. Minora with the tackle.
Minora with the tackle, and Princeton decided that they wanted to defer. They wanted that ball in the second half. Now they've got it. They've already got themselves into a lead. Probably not the lead they expected. They probably expected more, but the Yale defense continued to rise to the occasion in the first half. They've got to keep that momentum coming from the first half now into the second half.
Brian Mills gets the second half start at tailback for Princeton. Quinn Epperly is their all-everything quarterback. Complete. Seth DeValve at the 35, shy of a first down. It'll be second and about 4.
If there's one thing that's really been surprising about the passing side of the offense with Quinn Epperly today has been the fact that Seth DeValve has been such a highlighted receiver. It seems like he's throwing to him 3-to-1 versus the other receivers.
Little ball fake and then going for DeValve again. Incomplete. Coverage by Foye Oluokun from St. Louis. The Ivy League Defensive Player of the Week and Rookie of the Week. Another one of these freshmen in the defensive backfield for the Bulldogs. Princeton 4 out of 9 on third down. Here's the flip to Roman Wilson. And Wilson breaks the tackle. First down Tigers at the 48. He slipped away from Oluokun.
He's a tough kid, and he put himself down. He used his speed to get to the outside, then cut it up, and then used a little bit of that powery leg drive as he hit into the tackler, continued to move, got an extra 5 yards.
First down Princeton, just underway, second half. Roman Wilson starting to rack up some yards.
Got Mickelson back there.
Connor Michelson has time. He throws, complete to Wilson. And Roman Wilson has a first down for Princeton at the Yale 23.
We were talking about in the first half how many targets that Seth DeValve had. You look over at Roman Wilson, he leads the team. He's got 70 catches coming into today, so it's surprising he hasn't seen the ball more in the passing game. Now you're starting to find him once again. He's got those great hands, good speed, he's quick, beat the corner to the inside, nice catch.
They say his knee was down at the 26. Dre Nelson in there at running back. DeValve lines up as a tight end. And Bostic, a quarterback, splits out as a receiver. Here's Nelson. No, it's a fake, and they throw it to Connor Michelson. Princeton playing 3 quarterbacks at once again, and Epperly went for one of his fellow quarterbacks, Michelson.
Which they do a lot. They look for each other. That's really a lot of what this game plan is all predicated upon, is these quarterbacks all touching the ball.
Bo Palin had the pressure on him, the captain of the Yale team. Bostic cuts it inside. Kendrick Bostic gets about 10 yards down to the 16.
How about that offensive set? They've got offensive linemen, they've got tight ends, they've got receivers, they've got people all over the place. They spread out pieces of them and put the defense in a very, very difficult position. They've got to be extremely disciplined, and that time they weren't disciplined enough. Nice gain by Boston.
Princeton, one of the first college teams ever. They played in the first game against Rutgers, and they are reinventing the game right now. Epperly bulls forward on 3rd and short. He gets the first down and a few more down to the 13-yard line.
People used to fly out to Oregon to figure out that offense. They go to New England to see it in the NFL. I think a lot of teams are going to want to start getting into the head of the coach and find out exactly how they are implementing some of these plays.
James Perry is like a mad scientist, the offensive coordinator. Roman Wilson. Wilson spins away and inside the 5-yard line before being tackled by Will Vaughn.
Nice block on the outside again by Seth DeValve. When he's not catching the ball, when he's not targeted, does a nice job of blocking, getting in front of people. Sometimes it's not about knocking them over. It's just getting in their way and using that receiver to be able to move and cut off of them to get those extended yards.
Epperly takes off. Quinn Epperly is in for the touchdown.
Got a little help from his friends on that one. That was big Jake Woodall who came in behind, and as Epperly was sort of struggling to get a little bit further, he's right at the goal line. He had big Jack Goodall come in there and shove him in.
His 17th rushing touchdown of the year. It's been 14 years since any player in FCS has gotten 20 passing and rushing TDs in the same season, and Epperly is well on pace to do that.
So impressive. It's the play calling. It's getting them into position. The offense is just something that's almost indescribable.
Beak completes the extra point. Princeton has gone up big, 38-16 on Yale. The multi-talented Quinn Epperly showing off here on Senior Day. Yale has made a number of key mistakes in this ball game, Pete. First, they tried the onside kick early. Jacoby Johnson returned it 45 yards for the touchdown, then a pass interference.
It really cost them because that put Princeton once again in a great position for another score.
Then Candler Rich fumbled it.
Something that they could not afford is to give the ball back to that potent defense or offense of Princeton.
Princeton 8-1 the last 2 years when they're plus in the turnover category, and then there was a timeout called that tried to ice the kicker, but they blocked the kick. That was nullified. Beak came back out, made a 21-yard field goal, and those are some of the mistakes today.
And as we talked about, this has been a very close ball game, but there's been enough mistakes that it's why we see the scoreboard so slanted towards Princeton.
38-16 Tigers, and Yale brings it up to the 22 with Clemens. 3 minutes gone by, second quarter, along with former University of Minnesota linebacker Pete Najarian, Dave Popkin, and our ESPN crew with you in Princeton, New Jersey today. Tigers trying to win their 8th straight. This is a team that was picked 5th in the Ivy League in the preseason by the coaches, and the Tigers have really surprised not only the league but all of FCS.
Certainly have.
Logan Scott on the handoff to Dion Randall. And a good chunk on first down. One of the Tigers is down. It's Garrett Light again. He'll stay in.
They find ways to get the ball to Dion Randall. That time did a nice job of running between the tackles, something that, given his size, you don't expect, but a nice job of blocking up front by the offensive line.
8-yard pickup. Intercepted. There goes Phil Baya. Touchdown Tigers!
The mistakes just keep adding up because, as we say, the game's been very close. You look at some of the numbers, you look at the yardage, you look at the time of possession, number of plays, all of those things look like this game should be about a 3-point differential, and instead, it's these kind of miscues. Again, this time, Logan Scott rolls out, tries to throw the football to his receiver, comes right off of his hands, intercepted by Phil Baya, brings it in for the score.
He was going for Stephen Burek, who doesn't have a catch this year, and it was tipped by Jason Ray, it looked like.
Another one of those linebackers.
Beak hits the extra point. He's been perfect today, and Princeton rolling. They lead it 45-16. The defense creating for them. Phil Baya, his third interception of the year, which leads the team. A senior from Haddonfield, New Jersey. He took it back 34 yards to the house.
Well, when you look at Princeton today, they've got scores throwing the football, running the football, special teams, and now you've got the defense bringing back an interception for a touchdown. So they have used just about every way possible to figure out ways to score. Done an outstanding job of converting and turning some of these turnovers, causing the miscues, turning those into points.
Overwhelmingly positive, a turnover margin this year for the Tigers. Just one of the reasons why they're looking to go to 8-1 on the year. Their only loss was a heartbreaker, a 1-point loss to Lehigh earlier this season in non-league play. Other than that, they've been perfect.
They really have, and they've played some spectacular football. Anybody gets a chance to be able to go back and take a look at that Harvard triple overtime game. That was just a magnificent game on both sides of the football. Obviously, Princeton came out on top.
Clemens from his own 2.
Nice.
Great return. About 31 yards for Robert Clemens III.
Well, they really set up the blocking that time. He's brought back the kick a couple of different times now and really struggled to get past the 20-yard line. As a matter of fact, he's been stopped inside the 20-yard line, but a great return that time. You can see the ball was tipped, then the receiver trying to grab it, still couldn't get to it, and then Byhawk just takes it all the way to the house, just like you want to do. You want to bring that thing back and score yourself.
Second turnover by Yale today. Scott throws complete to Randall. Nothing doing. John Hill. He'll be on that hill with everything that he's got.
The mojo, the momentum, you kind of start to feel it. The offense comes out, and they are exactly what the Princeton offense has been all year. They move down the field. They put points on the board. Defense puts points on the board. And now a big play by John Hill on the outside on the player, Dion Randall, for Yale.
Keys to the 41. Nice rush by Khalil Keys, the junior from Petaluma, California. Had a school record 94-yard touchdown run against Columbia this year. Third and a yard to go. Keys again. First down Bulldogs at the 45, stacked up by Phil Baya and others.
Tony Reno's got to do this. He's got to maintain the football and keep his defense off the field for a while. Give that offense a little bit of rhythm. They're moving the chains. They got themselves a first down. Just keep this momentum moving to the direction they need it to be, because it was really starting to snowball against them. Oh.
Sacked by Sotirianos. They lost about 10. Logan Scott is dropped.
Sotirianos that time just manhandled the offensive lineman in front of him, ran over him, was able to get in front of the quarterback immediately, Scott. Scott had nowhere to go. That's not on him. The offensive line's got to give him better protection. And that was a 3-man rush.
Sotirianos, a senior from Elizabeth, Pennsylvania. Princeton leads the league with 31 sacks. Randall on second and very long is cut down at the 40-yard line. And that is Dorian Williams.
Got a funny feeling Steve Verbett, the defensive coordinator, got into the face of these defensive players of the Princeton team and said, hey, look, guys, that is not the way we play football. We've got to come out a lot better than that. Let's show them who we really are. Let's show them that we're the football team that has had so many wins in a row and had that one loss. But ever since then, we've been winning, and we've been doing it on offense, but the defense has been a big part of it as well.
They've picked up momentum as the season has gone along. They've created more turnovers. They've garnered more sacks. Scott, sacked again. This time it's Elijah Mitchell.
Elijah Mitchell has a great knack for being able to get in there, cause some sacks, wreak havoc. He's got 3.5 tackles for a loss coming in. He's also got 3.5 sacks coming in. He's got an interception. This is a playmaker on defense. Nice swim move that time on the big tackle Ben Carberry out of Oak Park, Illinois.
Forces a punt from Yale about midway through the third quarter. Princeton up big here, 45-16. Lescano is going to let this one roll. Discretion the better part of valor. Didn't want to mess with it. Princeton will have it from their own 16 when we come back. 7:50 left in the third quarter. Tigers looking great here in the Ivy. We're back after this on ESPN 3. Back with you at Princeton. Dave Popkin with Pete Najarian. 45-16. Princeton on top of Yale. Will Powers gets a couple for the Tigers on the hand. And a whole host of tacklers there, including Jeff Smitchens, a junior defensive tackle from Naperville, Illinois. DeValve in motion, and he takes the hand and dives forward to the 23. It'll be 3rd and short.
DeValve really has been the target today. They're throwing him the football. Now they're handing him the football. He deserves some of this, of course, because of the fact that he is an unselfish player. He's been blocking on the outside, doing a great job. We've seen Roman Wilson with some explosive plays as well off of those blocks.
Epperly looking for Wilson. It's caught. First down and more. At the 48-yard line, Roman Wilson.
He's dragging all the way across from the opposite side. That time, you saw some of the defenders start to bite up on Seth DeValve, and meanwhile, there's Roman Wilson downfield for a nice long gain. Gets him up near the 50-yard line.
Wilson's final home game here, senior day. He has 14 career touchdowns, 2 shy of the Princeton record. Here's Dre Nelson. Nelson bouncing around like a pinball in there.
He really was. We talked about his stature earlier. He's 5'5", but he runs tough. He's low to the ground, obviously, but at 170 pounds, a tough young back, sophomore running back who's really willing to put his head down when he has to, but he's also got the speed we saw earlier on that long run.
Epperly has had time all day. They haven't sacked him, and that is incomplete, intended for Matt Costello. 9th all-time at Princeton with 104 career catches. Costello just a junior.
Costello is another one of these receivers that he's right in the same mold as Roman Wilson, and potentially could be very similar type player. Doesn't quite have the numbers just yet, but he's got another year. He's only a junior. That time it seemed like Epperly held the ball a little bit too long, a few too many strides as he was moving outside of the pocket to throw that football. Might have needed to throw the ball about 2 seconds earlier.
3rd and 5. Epperly under pressure this time, complete to Wilson for the first down.
Wilson just knows how to find those little pockets. He does. You brought it up earlier. He kind of reminds you of like a Wes Welker type style player.
Yep.
Or Amendola. He knows how to find the holes. He's going to get you first downs.
Princeton continues to move the chains, breaking tackles. That's Brian Mills. Mills, the senior, gets 14.
You look at these two, you look at Brian Mills, he's out of Edmond, Oklahoma. You see Roman Wilson out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. These guys, they've really done a nice job recruiting.
These Ivies recruit nationally. Mills gets back maybe to the line of scrimmage. You saw the dominance by the Princeton offense here in the third quarter. Remembering that they're a team that averages over 44 points per game, which would crush the all-time Princeton record for average points in a season. Mills, not much. 3rd and long.
Teams that score that kind of point average they do it in multiple ways, just as we've seen today. You're going to see the defense scoring, special teams scoring, and obviously the offense, and you're throwing the football as well as running the ball. Today, when they've run the ball, they've run it very effectively. They've averaged over 6 yards a carry, but this has really been about Epperly and his ability to throw the football.
Princeton record 1950, 38.8 points per game. They won the national championship. Epperly, Wilson, touchdown!
And that was a strike that time. Great job, Epperly stepping into the ball. Charles Cook trying to cover. Charles Cook's pretty big. He's 6'3", 215 pounds. And he's on Roman Wilson, who's got a lot more speed than people are aware of. 6 foot, 190-pound little receiver. We talked about how he knows how to get first downs. He knows how to get touchdowns. That's his 10th now.
Kick good again from Nolan Beek. Princeton has now scored 50 or more points in 5 of their last 8 games. Hold that Tiger? I don't think so. Roman Wilson, his 15th career touchdown, one shy of the all-time Princeton record. Princeton is absolutely rolling right now, and Roman Wilson getting hot.
Well, he sure is. He comes in averaging over 9 catches per game, about just under 100 yards a game. Well, he's over all those numbers. You can see his explosiveness, handing the ball off to him and then running the ball. He's gone over 115 yards receiving on 9 grabs today. Just an outstanding performance from a young man who's ready to break a few records here at Princeton.
He had a 24-yard touchdown catch. And that was the 15th of his career. He has 6 catches in the second half alone. Came in 7th in Princeton history with 110 career receptions. He capped that 84-yard drive. Doesn't take this team long to move it down the field.
They score quick. It's why Yale's just got to possess the football and keep it away from that Princeton offense.
Gains across the 50 for the Bulldogs. No, pardon, Candler Rich, one of the upbacks, brings it back for Yale.
Got a flag down over there.
Offside. Kicking team number 39. 5-yard penalty will be assessed from the end of the return. First down.
So a 30-yard return plus 5 more. Good field position for Yale, but this one is out of the barn.
It's making it tough, but they've really got to come out and they've got to score quickly if they want to get themselves anywhere close to being back in this football game. And that's going to go right on the shoulders of Logan Scott.
Scott complete to Rich. Got back to the line of scrimmage and not much more. Pete, you're in a unique position because you've seen a lot of FBS teams at the highest level this year, and then teams here at the FCS level as well. How does Princeton compare?
I'll tell you, they are extremely well coached. They're in great shape physically. And obviously the mental side of it, they really have all of the pieces that you would want to have. Now, do they have the kind of size and talent to be able to play with some of the big boys up there? I'm not sure they're at that level. But as far as the FCS, this is an outstanding football team. They could play with anybody, including the Villanovas of the world or Montana State. They're really up in that category.
Yeah, I saw Fordham earlier this year, and they've had a fantastic season. I think Princeton is as good.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Deion Randall with a big pickup for Yale. Again, the 5th 50-point game of the year for Princeton. Scott. Jason Ray was there, and he had help from Rohan Hilton.
That was actually the right decision that time. Why force the football? He's got too much pressure. He's looking. He made the quick decision. I'm going to run with the ball. But these linebackers can run as well. They did a nice job of converging on him. That time it was Jason Ray. We talked about Zuli, Ray, Light. Elijah Mitchell, they all can run, they can pursue. Nice job by the defense of pursuing that time and stopping Logan Scott.
Randall still on his feet inside the 20, close to a first down. Looks like he might be a yard short.
Just get that guy the ball. Every time he touches the ball, he seems to make something happen. It's incredible. And this time, Scott immediately takes that snap, fires it out there, gets the ball to Deion Randall, who turns it up, gets enough for a very close to the first down.
He's gone over 140 yards receiving.
Wow.
Randall missed last year due to injuries, come back so strongly this year in his senior season. He'll have another year of athletic eligibility next year if he wants it. Keys fights across the 20, down to the 18. That's a first down for the Bulldogs.
Well, they're doing what they need to do, which is move the chains. They obviously, this is a huge deficit, but keep Princeton's offense off the field. That's been the goal the entire day. It hasn't worked in this third quarter. They have dominated, but Yale doing a nice job moving the chains and keeping the ball at least in their own hands and hopefully get a few more points up on the board.
Keys takes the hand. Karan Reed and others drag him down after a short gain. Now also keep in mind that a couple of Yale's best players hurt and not in the game. Their starting quarterback Henry Furman, their starting tailback Tyler Varga, and their leading receiver Chris Smith.
And you're taking away some monstrous production. Varga was over 120 yards a game rushing. Furman was throwing 10 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. So you took a lot of product.
Scott got it back off a deflection. Hit hard by Baya, but that is a first down Yale. First and goal.
Sometimes you got to improvise a little bit. That time the ball deflected up in the air, and a nice job that time by Logan Scott keeping track of it and making sure, hey, look, I got a shot at this. I'll catch it. And there he goes.
Elijah Mitchell with the tip. On first and goal, Scott for Roberts. Oh, he almost made the catch off the deflection. John Hill on coverage.
He had a shot at it. He had 2 shots at it, but he just couldn't quite come down with that. It was a nice play. Try to isolate yourself with a nice, good-sized, we're going to have to call him a receiver, even though he's also a quarterback, but against a very small corner, go for that jump ball. Hill's only 5'9", so you're trying to take advantage of that size. That time just couldn't come down with it.
Too far for Randall. Third and goal.
The other thing that's been impressive about Yale is, their youth. They battled very hard in the first half. They're a very young football team, but how about some of the recruiting they've done out in California? When you look at, obviously, Deion Randall's out of San Diego, but the right tackle, Gavin's from San Diego, Oppenheimer's from Menlo Park, Burlingame, the center. You've got all kinds of players from the California area.
Scott hit,
nice,
caught, touchdown, Deion Randall. I don't know how he completed that pass.
He had pressure, somehow was able to get rid of the football. Kind of a duck in the air because of the pressure, but take a look at this shot. Look at the ball didn't exactly have the spiral you're looking for, but Deion Randall didn't care. He's coming down with it for a score.
43-play drive for Yale, trying to keep this thing interesting. Cassetta hits the extra point. Deion Randall maintained concentration, and so did Scott here.
Well, an outstanding job that time. Scott, obviously, the pressure that he was under was incredible. I think that was Mike Zulli who put the pressure on him. Hit him so hard that his arm was knocked back. The ball fluttered in the air, but Deion Randall, great concentration to come down with the football. They've gone for the right way of approaching this. We're going to put the ball, take the ball out of the hands of the quarterback in version of some of these passes and get it into the hands of Deion Randall. Give him some open space, give him an opportunity to shake and bake and get as many yards as he can. He has done an outstanding job all day long but unfortunately all those miscues that we talked about earlier have really cost them as far as the scoreboard. But nice job that time by the Yale offense, moving downfield, getting those chains moving as well, running here and there, mixing it up. But Deion Randall, outstanding job.
His 8th touchdown catch of the year, his 10th TD overall. Logan Scott has done a pretty good job today managing this Yale offense, but Princeton has turned them over a couple times, had that special teams play, and their offense has really gotten going here in the third quarter. Look at this. It's like a rugby scrum.
You know, a moment ago we were talking about some of the recruiting and the youth. You look at Logan Scott, he's a sophomore. He's another guy out of California. He's not from Woodland Hills, California. So they've done a nice job of some of the recruiting nationally, getting some of these players. And when you look on both teams' rosters, you're talking about several players who've been offered scholarships at major university have made the decision, look, I want to go play in the Ivy League. There's multiple players on the Princeton sideline right now that had offers from places like Vanderbilt and Duke and some of the more academic schools at the major college football level.
Dre Nelson takes the hand, and there's not much there for Nelson. If Princeton holds on, they will clinch a share of the Ivy League title if they win next week at Dartmouth. It would be their first outright Ivy League championship since 1995.
How about the turnaround? Just, it really is impressive. We put up a stat earlier about the first 2 years of the senior class being 2-18. How about the way they have reacted and moved and helped some of the recruiting process and what they have turned themselves into this year, especially early preseason projections of somewhere, what, in the middle of the pack?
False start, number 90, offense, 5-yard penalty. Still, second down.
Let me guess, Steve Cataratt is from the Boston area.
I was going to say, that's quite an accent that guy's got there. I feel like we're at Cheers or something.
That'll do it for the third quarter.
That is the end.
All the cheers are coming for Princeton right now. They lead it 52-23 on their senior day. Quinn Epperly, Roman Wilson, and the Tigers looking good here at Powers Field. We're back on ESPN3. A perfect autumn day for a college football game here on the Princeton campus in New Jersey. And it's been pretty good on the field for the Tigers as well. 52-23 as we start the fourth quarter. Princeton trying to go to 8-1 on the year. Here's what's going on with the rest of the Ivy League after this play as Epperly hands off to Will Powers. Broke a tackle, broke another tackle, and dragged down from behind by Nick Ocano, a senior from Los Angeles. Another one of those California kids.
The Ivies do a nice job recruiting out there in California.
Can't be because it's a nice recruiting trip to take, right?
It's a little bit different weather out here, but they tell you what, it's absolutely beautiful. And that shot with the leaves and everything, I mean, the fall right now and the fact that we were near 60 today at kickoff, it's a beautiful fall day for some football up here in Princeton.
3rd and 9 for Epperly. DeValve has it. He has a blocker. Seth DeValve. A punishing run across the 50, first down Tigers.
Showed some nice speed there as well. He had to wait a long time for that throwback pass from Quinn Epperly, but by the time it got there, he was able to turn and burn and actually beat a couple of defenders to gain even some extra yards, showing some of that speed. He's a big guy. We talked about him being like an H-back type player. He's 6'3", 240 pounds. Nice job that time. You know, this guy was a shot putter and a high jumper. That's an unusual combination in high school for track, but it just shows you his versatility, his strength, and his speed and his power as well.
Good lead block by Joe Tull that time, who has seen some time on the offensive line. Brian Mills, in his final home game, pushes forward to the 41, a good pickup.
Yeah, they're grinding right now. I'll tell you, Princeton, but you see something that we hadn't seen until now. Look at the time they're taking on these plays. This isn't that hurry up, rush offense, get up to the line and everybody's sprinting. They're taking their time. They're moving that clock. They're doing the right thing right now. They're working the clock. They're not overcoaching. They're doing exactly what you should be right now.
They want to beat Yale, but they don't want to rub it in.
They don't want to rub it in, and they've got a pretty comfortable lead here with 13 minutes to go.
Total yards, dominance in the second half. Mills. First down and a few more. Out of bounds at the 34-yard line.
Some nice blocking out there. You can see the players are actually used to this speed-up offense. They're all running back, and then they realized, wow, we're supposed to slow this thing back down. You see Mills on the outside. He's got some great speed. He's got an ability to be able to turn those jets on. 5'10", 200-pound senior wants to show everybody what he really has on this last home game.
Bob Surace has really helped turn this program around. Former Cincinnati Bengals assistant, former Western Connecticut head coach. He's here with his alma mater and doing a fantastic job. On first down, it's Mills again. And Mills noses forward to the 30. And tackled by Carl Kreitzberg. Victor Egu as well.
You got to figure this is Bob Surace. This is his ultimate job, right? He played football here, had a great career coaching in the NFL, primarily with the Cincinnati Bengals. He's an offensive coach, offensive line assistant, all the rest of that. And here he is at Princeton, and look at the turnaround and what they're doing this year. And you look at some of the recruits that are going to be coming in, some of them that they got last year. This is a program that's really on the rise.
Dre Nelson spinning, fighting his way down to the 20. Another first down, Princeton.
And look at Dre Nelson, pops up and he's running right back because they want to get into that speed offense, but coach doing all the right things, slowing them down, saying, hey guys, let's work that clock. There's nothing. We got ourselves a comfortable 52-23 lead. Got a little over 11 minutes to play. Let's take our time.
Princeton has a tradition that when they beat Harvard and Yale in the same season, they get a bonfire on campus for the students. They got it last year for the first time since '06, and they're going to have it again this year.
Oh, are they excited about that? Woo!
One of the many traditions here in the Ancient Eight. Dre Nelson.
Oh, boy.
Gone again. Nelson's second touchdown. And Princeton is inching toward 60 points.
And it's not that 60 points where you're running it up on somebody. They're just playing football. And what Yale did that time was they really stacked it up. They had a blitz coming in there. You could see some of the linebackers firing in there. That was Will Vaughn, number 42. But they had 8 men in the box. They were blitzing them all coming up, knowing it's a running play. Once you get past that initial front 7, actually 8 in this particular case, there's nobody left. You walked into the end zone.
59-23. A big day here in Princeton.
This is a
Dre Nelson.
timeout.
Second touchdown of the day, his third of the year. Tigers looking great. Princeton voted the top university in the nation by U.S. News and World Report, and they've been pretty good on the football field as well this year. Today's scores from the Ivy League. Harvard defeated Penn 38-30. That was 31-0 Harvard at the half, so Penn really came back strongly. Dartmouth over Brown, and Cornell leads Columbia 29-24 in the fourth quarter. Both going for win number 1 in league play. Princeton has scored 59 points. To put that in perspective, prior to this year, Princeton had scored 50 points only 4 times total since 1965. And they've done it 5 times alone this year.
It gives you a little representation of just what kind of offense we're talking about and the ability to put points up on the board in a hurry. Right now, they're trying to hold back. They're not even trying to get points up on the board. They're just running their offense and trying to work that clock. That last touchdown, let me tell you, the coach does not want to rub this in. He's a class act. Bob Cerise is a fantastic guy. He's trying to hold him back. I think you're going to see a lot more of the secondary and third and fourth string type guys, whoever he's got. He's got 125 guys suited up for this game. A lot of double numbers. You're going to see more players out there.
Dre Nelson's last touchdown was from 20 yards, and to be fair, he's great, but he's the fourth string running back.
It's incredible. You've got Atwater, you got Mills, you got Nelson. You've got so many different choices, powers that they can pick from. And then you start to look at some of the receivers with Wilson and Costello and Kelly and DeValve. It's just incredible, the talent and the depth of the talent on both sides, but mostly the offense.
And it's going to help recruiting, as you mentioned. Why wouldn't you want to come and play in a system like this where you score about 50 points a game?
Yep.
And whistles and flags everywhere.
False start, offense number 6. 5-yard penalty, still. Second down.
You were talking about the business report and where it ranks Princeton and all the rest of that. I'll tell you what, you walk around this campus, you can understand why it is the place that so many people, they want to go to school here. You love the academics, the jambalaya out there, all the food and everything. This is just a great atmosphere here at Princeton.
Indeed. Complete to Randall. And Deion Randall stacked up by Hilton and about 4 other Tigers, including Matt Ahrens.
Well, Yale's not going to give up, and they're going to give that ball to Deion Randall because he's the playmaker, and you can see him. He looks kind of tired, a little bit worn out because they've been running with this big lead dog for the entire game, and he's held up his end of the bargain. They've got 23 points on the board, and that's including with all the turnovers and everything that's happened with this offense today.
3rd and 8. Incomplete. Broken up by Phil Baya, who wanted his 2nd interception of the day. He had a touchdown on a pick early 3rd quarter.
One of the things that this defense has done, and you highlighted it earlier, was the turnover ratio, but the 13 interceptions coming into today, and you look at so many different players. There's not one player that has more than 2 coming into today, and yet it just shows you the depth and diversity of this defense and how aggressive they are at the corners, at the linebackers. They've got players everywhere that have got interceptions.
Cazzetta's kick, fair caught by Max Lescano. Princeton ranked in the FCS this week, number 24. You'd think they'd move up after this performance against a pretty good Yale team, leading at 59-23. See if Epperly stays on the bench here, if they run him out there. And Kendrick Bostic will be the quarterback now for Princeton. And they will also run Joe Radigan in at tailback, who's done well in limited time this year. Radigan burst through the middle for about 5 yards. Seeing some backup offensive linemen in there now as well.
And Max Cole just ran off the field as well. I'm not sure why he was even back in there, but he's a kid we never got really a chance to talk much about. A great offensive line. We talked about the protection that they've got for Epperly all day long. He was a defensive lineman. He moved to offensive guard. He's been a 2-year starter. So it just shows you they know how to mix and match and find the best spot to put these players so they can perform at the highest level possible.
A lot of guys changed positions over the last couple of years, and that mix is working now for Princeton. A number of backup receivers in as well. Joe Radigan, first down, gang tackled. Darius Minora gets him at the 45.
We talked about how Coach is such a classy guy, and Bob Cerise he's got his players out there, and you can see these are all 2nd and 3rd string guys. So he's taken all the starters off. He's told them what a great job that they've done. They're trying to hold this clock down. You can see how they're just pausing right now in the huddle. He's doing all the right things, and he's giving an opportunity for the guys who are out there to play. but they just don't want to play at the usual tempo that Princeton normally would be running.
Dylan White is playing at receiver now. Isaiah Barnes. James Frashanti. And Princeton keeping it on the ground. And Joe Radigan, another good run for the Tigers as we move towards 7.5 minutes left. And the Yale coaches left scratching their head today. It wasn't just the injuries to a couple key players. Princeton was just head and shoulders better.
Right, and once they started to find their groove on offense, because Yale came out and they were playing some defense. They actually stopped Quinn Epperly in this high potent offense, this scoring offense. Several times they came out, 3 and out. But once they got moving, those points started adding up. And then when you get some special teams points, some interception returns for touchdowns, really started to cascade, and that's when this game really got out of hand.
Oh. Completion to Isaiah Barnes, and he was tackled by Max Napolitano. By the way, with the 59 points today, Princeton has eclipsed their single-season team scoring record, most points.
Wow. And they're doing their best to hold it down. I was a little surprised they threw the ball, quite frankly, on that play, but they want to see some of the players get a little bit of action. That's fine. Give them an opportunity. Let's see some of the fourth and fifth string. They have 3 quarterbacks that all are in that rotation. So you're talking about, we talked earlier, they're 7 deep at quarterback, and they think all 7 can play.
Kendrick Bostic has seen a lot of snaps today. He's the quarterback here. Radigan takes the hand, and Joe Radigan.
Wow, still moving.
Wow, is the word. Down to the 36-yard line. He got about 10 yards on that.
And look, coach is putting in more players. He's taking out second players and putting in third players. So really doing a nice job of giving guys an opportunity. And how'd you like that scrum, the way that thing's moving downfield?
Impressive strength. And this is where the assistants help out as well. What seniors haven't gotten into the game? This is the final home game.
It's exciting. If you're a guy who hasn't had a lot of playing time in your career and it's your last home game ever and there's a good likelihood you got some family members, some friends in the stands, great opportunity for some of these guys to get out there and get some game time. It's great. Get some pictures 30 years later.
Alex Dixon, Michael Major. Max Wardacki. A lot of names that don't get a lot of time. Michael Willis. They're all in the game now for Princeton. Scott Carpenter. Well, it's a good opportunity in front of the biggest crowd that they've had here in many years.
It's outstanding. And the excitement, even pre-game, what they were talking about, they weren't looking ahead, but they were talking about, you know, if we can sweep Harvard and Yale, this big bonfire is really something special. And these guys are getting a great opportunity to have 2 in a row to get this opportunity to have that huge bonfire.
And Princeton keeping it on the ground and close to another first down. A.J. Glass.
John Hill.
This drive might actually grind out the final 4 minutes of this game. The way they're approaching it, the way they're using that clock, and they're using all of that clock before they snap the ball with 4 minutes to go and now under 4. There's a real good potential. They get this first down that they just grind it down and walk away with a big win with 59 points up on the board.
This 8th straight win would be the longest streak for the Tigers since '95, the last time they won the Ivy League outright. A.J. Glass.
John Hill.
And tripped up by Aaron Alt.
First down, Princeton. Ball's at the 25.
Getting more and more guys in there.
Malik Jackson, the senior quarterback, is going to see some time as well. Crowd reacting to that. Jackson under center. Zach Smith is in at tailback. This is fun for the Tigers to get some of their guys that work so hard in practice into a game. Inside 3 minutes to go.
Winning the first choice TV promotion. Please report to the table to claim your prize.
For these seniors, just what an incredible run they've had. And I guarantee you, as a guy who was there, I was at the University of Minnesota way back when. We had a year where we were 1-10. We were one of the worst football teams in America by far. We were terrible, and I have to admit it. We got beat by Nebraska 84-13. That's how bad we were. But 2 years later, Lou Holtz had come in, and by the time he left, in 2 years, we actually ended up going to a bowl game and winning 7 or 8 games. So great opportunity for these seniors to enjoy a winning season and an incredible game today with 59 points on the board.
Tremendous satisfaction. And the Tigers keep it on the ground for
In
Zach
the
Smith.
NCAA Field Hockey Championships, final score, Tigers 5.
Inside
Penn
2 minutes
State
to go.
4.
Princeton, with this win, will go to 8-1 on the year, 6-0 in the Ivy League.
Final score in football.
It'll be their 13th win in their last 17, dating back to last year. So they really have the momentum going. They have a lot of young players that are coming back next year, including Quinn Epperly, their quarterback.
James Perry, the offensive coordinator, just incredible what he's been able to create here. And he calls it fast and physical, and they've been all of that today.
Saw that Bob Serace and the Tigers will clinch at least a share of the league title and a chance to win it outright next week at Dartmouth. Smith again on third down. The way the Ivy League works it, if for some reason Princeton were to lose next week and Harvard won out, both of those teams would have one loss, and Princeton would have beaten Harvard, but with the sportsmanship here in the league, they share the league title.
It's really something, isn't it?
Yep.
It's impressive in this day and age, and the competitiveness and all of the craziness that goes on in sports, that they're that gentlemanly. It's impressive, and it's a testament to the Ivy League.
And with the Princeton win today, Penn is eliminated, Yale and Dartmouth also eliminated. And just keep hitting it on the ground on fourth down, Zach Smith. And that should do it here. Yale will have another play, but 24 seconds left. They're starting to celebrate here in Princeton.
Shows you how much love they have for that quarterback as well. I mean, obviously, when you see the number of quarterbacks and all the depth they've got at the quarterback position, and they all get their opportunity, but it just shows you as the seniors start to step off the field, it's a nice moment for them as they come off for their final game at home.
From here, Yale will have the game. They will host Harvard, 600th game in the Yale Bowl next week. And the give to Everett Johnson. See if they get one more playoff here. And that will do it.
And the final score, the Tigers 59, Yale
Princeton
23.
has clinched a share of the Ivy League title for the first time since 2006. Congratulations to Bob Serace and the Tigers. And the fans are storming the field.
It's great.
Princeton sweeps the series with Harvard and Yale. Tremendous job by the Tigers. They win it 59-23. For Pete Nacharian and our ESPN crew, Dave Popkins saying so long from Princeton, New Jersey. The Tigers are champs here in the Ivy League. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Thanks for watching.